everybody. We are here today with Jeffrey. So Jeffrey is the CEO of University Recruiters and the Jeffrey Agency. And he helps companies that are Fortune 500 companies advise on best hiring practices. And not only is he a CEO of 2 companies, he's also Swob's advisor as well. So welcome, Jeffrey.
Hello, hello. What's cooking?
So we have a couple questions for you today.
Perfect. Let's go.
And of course, we want to kind of pick your brain. So one of the first questions we have is, what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to start a business?
The first piece of advice, I would ask why. And we've spoke about this before. Everybody lives on Instagram and thinks that's what starting a business is all about. So if that's the reason you're doing it because you see private jets and big old watches, then you may need a smack in the face reality check. And what happens is so many people start a business because they think they have to. They think it's cool. I tell people all the time, if you don't have it in you, don't start a business, because it is the loneliest place in the world. When you got to meet payroll and you're starting, there is nothing fun about it. Yes, the 1 out of a million, you can crack the code and do all those things that you see. But even those people that you see doing it that are legit, 99% are shit. They're fakes. But you don't see what they went through to get there. So my first piece of advice, do you really want to do? And then get someone who's going to be straight with you and tell you, is this real or is it not a business? The one reason I love Shark Tank is some people say they're mean to people, they smash dreams, and no, they're actually smart and they're actually saving you. You know, when Mr. Wonderful says, man, this is not a business, it's garbage. He could probably say it in a nicer way, but you need someone in your life that's going to tell you the truth, and it's not going to be a friend or a family member. You got to go to an advisor, a mentor, someone that doesn't give a shit about your feelings and find out, because most people fail a business. Well, there's a whole bunch of reasons. One, they don't realize that whatever you think it costs 50 times more.
Oh yeah.
The other thing is they run out of runway. They think they're going to be up killing it in 3 months when it's 3 years problem. Then they set all these crazy bullshit expectations of what they see on social media, and they set goals so high that when they don't hit them, they quit. Well, meanwhile, if they set realistic goals, they would be smashing them out of the park. Yeah. So all that with, I think the most important thing is the checkup from the neck up. Do you really want to start it? Because there is nothing wrong with a W-2 wage earner. You can make a ton of money, and I tell people this all the time, because most entrepreneurs pitch the entrepreneur life. As someone who's an entrepreneur in careers, if you have what it takes, it's awesome. If you don't go near it.
That's an interesting way to put it, and I agree. I think you need somebody. It's not going to be your family or friends that's going to be the one to tell you, hey, don't do this. It's going to be somebody, outside your business who doesn't care about your feelings, and they're going to be the ones who are going to be straight up and honest with you. So that's a good point. I find that.
Well, no one's ever had an ugly child. I've seen some ugly kids, but no one's ever had no one ever has a bad idea, just like a recruiter never has a bad candidate. And sometimes that's my job and my manager's job is to tell the recruiters that's actually not a good candidate. Your kid is ugly and your business ideas.
Well, speaking about bad candidates and recruiting, I find it interesting, but was it that inspired you, or I guess what made you want to get into recruiting of all the types of aspects of business? Why was it?
Yeah, I started in the mortgage world, which we're still heavily dabbling, and 7 years through my 15 years there, I was fresh out of school. The last 7 years, I started running recruiting and we went on a major growth, 600-700 employees. And there was many a times when I was tasked to lean on an outside firm. And I still remember the day. I don't remember the suit I was wearing, but I remember the office I was in when I literally said, no way, I'm done with this. And it was just the amount of crap that I was getting put on my calendar and doing 7 hours of interviews of people that were just awful compared to what we were looking for, right? Not bad people. And I remember saying, and by the way, this wasn't one, this was like 5 or 6 firms. And I remember saying then, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. I'm going to do it out of a necessity of the shit I'm seeing. We're gonna make sure we don't always get it right the first time. But when you tell us what you want, we're checking every single box before we waste a minute of your time. And that's probably why I never had to look for business. Believe it or not, I have it on my calendar to start business development on Monday. I've never done it my entire life. Ever. And we landed 4 contracts this week. And it's all because it gets around. And in recruiting, you guys should be booming because restaurants can't find anyone to work, but no one can find anyone to work. And it's not easy. So if you're gonna do it right. And that's the reason I remember sitting there saying, this is, it was a week of interviews. And I'm like, how are these people getting to me? Like, what's their vetting system? What's their process? So we created a way that we would want to be treated as the end person doing the interview and the candidate.
Understanding it on both sides.
Yeah, we want to make it fun for the candidate, and not fun, I don't care if it's fun, but we want to make it smooth, easy, not a hassle, and we also don't want to be the firm, and unfortunately a lot of recruiting firms do this, they box and close you into where they want you. When we work with a candidate, especially local here, we give them 10, 15 different places if they fit that mold to, hey, I'll hook you up with all of them. You pick, and then the best thing that happens is they get 3 or 4 offers, and you got to hire, but they're not feeling like, a lot of recruiters will take you, put you here because that's where I get the big fee, but you're better off down the street. I'm not even going to tell you about it because I only make half. And unfortunately, that's the way it works.
Well, you saw a problem and, there you go. You developed a solution and you're really trying to eliminate any barriers for these candidates as possible. You want to support them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure our users will probably really appreciate this is when you are trying to find the right candidate, what do you look for first on a resume?
Okay, so there's something I look for off the resume that's the most important, but on a resume, this is tricky because it depends on, so the first thing that I look at no matter what is job hopping. Now, I will take COVID into consideration, but it depends on I was doing a training the other day and I went through 50 resumes in like a minute. And the guy's like, what the hell? I said, I know this client is looking for this. If they're not doing that right now, they have no shot. And if I waste their time, then I'm screwing with everybody. So if I know it's a company that's looking for XYZ and that's not what you're doing now, you're gone. If it's sort of a wide field goal that, hey, go get us someone in sales, then obviously I'm looking at, are they doing sales, but have they stuck? Have they won? Or are they just hopping to the next opportunity?
Yeah.
The number one thing I look for over everything, I don't care what's on your resume. If your resume is kind of crappy and you got great energy, I'll work with you to make it better. If you have garbage energy, I don't care about anything else. You're dead to me. So the number one, and I don't care if it's an accounting role or a sales role, like if you don't have energy to want an interview and be excited about it, I always tell people, listen, the second I care more about you getting this job than you do, I'm like every other recruiter. And people are shocked how many candidates, I killed 2 today. She didn't respond quick enough. Like, if you're that excited, listen, our phones are right here all day long. There is no bullshit. If you want it, you will find a way to get a hold of me, email me, and if a day goes by and you're not quick, I don't mess around. And that goes back to making sure I deliver to the client somebody who checks all the boxes but wants to be there. Many recruiters sell people on, just take the interview and then we'll talk about it. Hell no. No. I'm going to lay it all out there. And then if you take it and you're excited, if I kill 2 people today, that one canceled his interviews, taking too long to get back, I just said, hey man, and the companies are shocked. I'm like, we're going to move on. What do you mean? It's 3 days and you're still goofing around. I look at energy from an attitude and you can tell how bad someone wants it. Text somebody and they take you a day to get back, they don't want it. I don't care who's, unless you're on vacation and there's a major issue, you don't want it.
Well, like you said, your phones are with you all the time. That
There's
if you can't respond, and I agree with you what you say about energy. I mean, it does. I had a boss who once told me it didn't matter where you went to school, what you did. If you are willing to come here, work hard, learn, and be passionate. That's what I'm looking for. So I agree 100% with that comment. I think
Gotta have energy.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And now that we talked about a little bit about resumes and what you're looking for, well, I mean, you're fairly active on LinkedIn, and so I'm just curious to know to get your thoughts on this. But what do you think people can do on LinkedIn to make themselves stand out? Because LinkedIn now is becoming so popular, and if you're not on it, you know, what the heck are you doing? But what can you do on LinkedIn to stand out and get some awareness brought to you?
You have to put content out. So I teach all these LinkedIn courses, and it's content, content, and content. Now, depending on how you're trying to get noticed, if I'm trying to get noticed as a candidate, that's a little different content than if I want you to recognize me as the man in the recruiting space. But regardless, it's content. If I'm looking for a job and I do a video on who I am and how I'm looking, and I'm looking sharp and it's edited good, I'm getting people's attention, right? I just put out a digital resume that everyone gets to see me, they get to hear me, but people are lazy or scared and they don't want to do it. The other thing I'd be doing is sending personal videos to everybody who I think has the key to hire me. I don't care if the website says there's no jobs. I don't look at that. I'm sending you a personal video. Hey, Jeff, it's me. I'm reaching out because I saw your profile. I saw your company page. I would love 5 minutes to talk about how I could bring you value. And I would do that 50 times a day. Because email, video, and voice text get opened at like 95%. In-mails, less than 20.
Yeah, big difference.
Right. And the thing is, when you say stand out, if I mention enough shit that you know I'm talking to you, and this can't be for anybody else, there's a level of respect that the right person will give you. For instance, I'm that right person because I get it. Your respect, I'm calling you regardless because I know how outside the box that was, and those are the people I want to hire.
Yeah, I think about that, and I think, you know, there's so many people that are just kind of doing things with that traditional approach where they'll send a message or the odd email. But I think, like your point earlier, either you're lazy or afraid. Well, that's the stuff that's going to help you stand out and be kind of outside the box. So if you're not doing that, it's going to be difficult to get noticed. So I agree with you. I think you need to do things that are going to make you stand out. And that's
the amount of generic pre-typed messages I get, they're so crazy. And the reason I know is because it doesn't mention anything about me or what we do. And 90% of the time, the stuff in it is wrong about. I got one today that said, oh, I want to get a hold of you. We're experts in working with nonprofits. Well, obviously, do your research because I am not a nonprofit.
That's just somebody who's copying and pasting and going through the list. And that's even like we were saying, sending a voice message or a video, it's so much more personalized too. And you get to see the person and see their personality and their energy.
You'll stand out. Let's put it that way.
Exactly. So I'm sure you probably get a ton of messages, a ton of DMs. We obviously know that you're super popular and super active on social media. So aside from LinkedIn, what would be like one of your most favorite social media channels right now?
Oh man, well I met you guys on Clubhouse, and that's probably the last time I went on that stupid thing. I told people, I said it was cool because it was winter and we had COVID. I said this will get so boring so quick for the people that live on there that I have a feeling it's gonna be dead soon. I mean, like you go to these rooms, there's 50 people in them. So the good news, it's simmered down. I've stepped back from all social, even LinkedIn. I mean, and not only because I'm busy, which is an excuse, but I'm an Instagram guy because I can reach a ton of people real quick. I love LinkedIn. I try to keep it raw, but you do have to watch a little bit on Instagram. I don't have to watch. If you're following me there, you're looking for the real stuff. And I used to do that on LinkedIn, and my brand grew a little too big for me to jeopardize doing something stupid that makes a client look bad. You know what I mean? I don't care about me. I don't want someone to say that guy represents us. No, right? Like I don't want these, we talked about, you know, Ryan Serhant, right? I could do something there. Everyone knows I work with them. Then there's going to be people say, I can't believe you work with that kid. On Instagram, if you come over there, you're ready for whatever. But I've slowed down. It's just been time consuming.
Yeah, it is. It definitely can get time consuming on there. Definitely.
Okay, well, Jeff, those were all of our questions for today. We want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us and for doing our little interview with you. But yeah, we really appreciate it. We'll be uploading this soon, and we hope you have a great rest of the day. And sorry, if people want to find you, where can they find you?
Go to LinkedIn, find me there.
There you go.
You'll see me.
They
All
won't
right.
send in those generic
Now they
templated
know what to
messages.
do.
They know now.
Yeah, send, I always say, don't be vanilla, stand out. Even if I don't like you, even if I'm not looking, I'm gonna remember you. And that's what it's all about, because what's gonna happen is unemployment, they're gonna pull unemployment, and now everyone, you're gonna see the job boards get flooded again. Well, is energy. If I have 1,000 interviews, I'm going after the one I remember.
That's right.
Someone who, made me say, oh shit, okay. Anyway, cool guys, have a good one. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Got it. Take care.